Folks, after the session, I caught up with several folks, including Ambassador Andrew Young, Pastor Jamal Bryant, and others who shared their thoughts on what the vice president had to say.
I can't think of anybody that stays on target as regularly and as timely as she is. We don't ever respect our own. It took us a long time to get used to the fact that Barack Obama was president. Now we know he was amongst the best. I think the same of Kamala Harris. I think what she does in the rooms that we don't go into is you always have a voice. Actually, she comes from Howard University, and California, she was the district attorney. She was the attorney general of San Francisco. She was the senator from California, and now she's been vice president. And she's always done well.
Today, Kamala Harris spoke to 100 black men, not with fluff, but with substance on what's on the line in terms of returning citizens, equity, access to capital, and housing. It's clear for us the road to November is Biden-Harris.
Quick, any thoughts about the vice president's session?
The vice president's session was great, and she empowered us to understand exactly what the administration has been doing throughout their tour. So we look forward to going to the polls and expressing our votes.
Very excited about the economic tour. The ideas they have about home ownership, amazing. And Steve Harvey did a great job too. It was amazing in that experience.
Thoughts on what the VP had to say today?
Extremely inspiring.
Hey man, look, this is probably the best conversation I've had or seen with her. I mean, she came with it, and it's not like she was very natural. It wasn't like she was trying to put on a show or anything. It was like, she was sincere. Something like what you do. So, I was very impressed, man, how she rolled, man.
That's extremely inspiring, especially us, our chapter being from the Bay Area. See somebody homegrown on a national stage representing, what she's done for the black community, specifically around business loans and debt relief. That's something that's extremely important and something we've talked about here at this conference. Is how entrepreneurs such as small business owners, black-owned businesses can not only lay out the groundwork to be funded, but take advantage of federal, national, state, and local RFPs, requests for proposals, those contracts. Not enough of those contracts go to our black businesses. If more of them knew that they could apply and, like you said, get renewed time after time after time again, we'd be more empowered.
Yes.
It's an awesome conversation.
All right, cool. Anybody else?
Look at that, man.
Yes.
I think it was just motivational, inspirational, and it's really a great example of leadership and how we need to follow the leader on this one so we can reach the goals that have collectively been set to improve our community.
When COVID happened, poor people were dying at a rate already of 800 people a day. Before COVID, if you went to a funeral every single day, it would take you 600 years to attend all the funerals of the people who will die from the ravages of policy violence, poverty, and low wages in America in just 1 year. It would take you 2 years and 19 days to go to all of the funerals of the people that will die today, and oftentimes silence. Nobody talks about this political genocide, but we are determined today to remember their death and be a resurrection of voting power and voice power like never before.
Economic justice and saving this democracy are deeply connected. We, as a nation, must listen to the demands of the poor, who are pushing and will continue to push political candidates and elected leaders to lift from the bottom so that everybody can rise.
We are the poor, the marginalized, and the underpaid. And we are taking one step forward to say that everybody has a right to live.
Poverty is not the fault of those who are impoverished. It is caused by those who make the policy.
There are over 135 million poor and low-wage, low-income people in this nation.
The biggest block of potential voters by far is low-income, low-wage voters.
I can't afford medicine. Sometimes I have to skip because of the cost.
The farm worker community is tired of the violence imposed upon us by greed, exclusion, and denial of basic human rights.
Those folk that represented by that casket, poor and low-wage workers who are the most moral people in this country because they go to work every day believing, even though going to work is hazardous to their health.
I'm tired of working 70 to 80 hours a week and still not have money for the necessity of bills. I'm tired of getting sick and not being able to go see the doctor. Having to make a choice to pay between rent or the light bill or food or clothes.
You cannot claim to care about families and a culture of life and then do everything in your power to rob people of equal access to resources and to force them to live in poverty.
Leadership of both parties had waged war on poor people and low-wage workers.
And this government has treated people experiencing poverty, including their military families, with disdainful, deliberate, malicious neglect.
So the truth is that my son died from poverty.
We refuse to accept poverty as the fourth leading cause of death.
The fourth leading cause of death in this, the richest country in the world.
We march today for our children and the generations to come.
And we need to do it with the loudest voices possible, the biggest actions possible.
We will voice our demands and register our vote.
When we stand up and when we stand together, things change.
There is the electorate that is, and then there is the electorate that should be.
34 million eligible poor and low-income voters did not vote in 2016. If just 20% of those voters in swing states were mobilized around an agenda, they could change the political outcome of every election. So we're launching the most massive voter mobilization and turnout campaign in history of poor and low-wage voters, allies, and religious leaders.
People are dying, but we know it doesn't have to be this way. And so we are calling on everyone to join us in this Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival.
We are here, we will be seen, we will be heard, and our power will be felt. We don't need to be an insurrection. We are a resurrection that will be felt across this country. Are you ready? 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 We are a resurrection, and we are ready. And